Okay, it's being recorded.
Nice. Okay.
Cool.
Is it 1:40?
It is 1:39.
We got 10 seconds.
Close enough. Let's start. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the UC Berkeley campus. This is my first time actually giving a tour on campus and not online. So thank you for your patience when we have technical difficulties. So we're just going to start out with California Memorial Stadium. I'll stand over to the side so you guys can see the glory of it. This is the Memorial Stadium. It was constructed in 1913, and it was constructed as a memorial to the fallen soldiers after World War I. So obviously it's a very old building, but it was renovated in 2012. So this is where a lot of students come to come play games or just athletes in general. We also have a ton of Berkeley engineering classrooms here. So for example, Madison, if you want to show them a little bit of the Berkeley Haas Innovation Lab, the Berkeley Engineering Classroom. There's also a Goldman School of Public Policy classroom here. There are just a ton of classrooms here where you can sit a ton of more students than smaller classes. If you go down a little bit over there, you can see some white tents. Those are for COVID testing. Pretty interesting. If you ever come to football games or anything that requires you to be on the field, so it'll be here. And yeah, we can start going down. I think that's just a lot of school spirit stuff. But yes, if you ever go to Cal Hacks, it will be here. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I was just gonna move and okay. Anyway, so as we go over here, you can see Bowles Hall. No, is it Bowles Hall? Bowles, yes, Bowles Hall. So this is one of the campus unaffiliated dorms. There is a lot of off-campus housing on the UC Berkeley campus. This is one of them. This is one of the oldest housing dorms here. If you ever apply to this place and you get in, you live here for until you graduate, which is pretty great. No, it's once you apply, then you apply for 1 year. Well, yeah, but you can live here until you graduate. That's yeah. So you apply. Sorry, I just want to get through it. So essentially, what happens is that not everybody can live here, but you have to apply. But if you do get in, you are allowed to stay here for until you graduate. This is just because that there is a limited amount of spaces available here. They went through renovations fairly recently, so it's not as old inside as it looks on the outside. But yeah, it's really nice. This is sometimes where the haunted houses are occur when it's pre-pandemic. So if you ever are looking for something fun to spice up your Halloween, you can come here. But aside from that, if you ever want to live here, just search up Bowles Hall and you can get the Google Form application. Here is a football field. You can, I don't know if you can see from the camera, but a couple of people are practicing here. I don't know if that's allowed, but so as we continue going down here, this is just gate to get into Memorial Stadium and just join games and stuff. So oftentimes when you want to join as a student, you will come through here and go through gate 2, which is where we started out. And as we go down the staircase, you can see Haas School of Business, which is where we're going to go next. But I just wanted to draw your attention really quickly to this statue right here. I have a phone. Wait, give me a second. Let me see if I can pull up the name of the statue. Okay. So this is one of the biggest bear statues on campus. There are 27 bear statues on campus, but this one is the biggest one. Its name is Sturdy, probably because, it's big and it's sturdy. A ton of people take pictures here. If you ever come to campus, one of the rites of passage is to take a picture with Sturdy. One final thing that I want to say about the Memorial Stadium is that since this is in the Bay Area, this stadium sits directly on top of the Hayward fault line. And that is one of the biggest fault lines in California. So whenever there's going to be an earthquake with that fault line, the stadium can be directly affected. It's really interesting. It's kind of ironic that they started constructing this place and then put it right on top of a fault line where, you know, it's not very seismically stable, so it could collapse. But hopefully we have a ton of years before that happens. Okay, I'm just gonna continue moving across. I don't know if I'm gonna like walk face towards the camera when I do that, but Madison, if you want to just like show them like the street, this is one of the roads on North Side Berkeley. And you can see here, here are a couple of old houses. Do you want to show them? Yeah. Here are a couple of old houses that used to house the old law school. We'll go into the new law school building soon. But first, we will show you the Haas School of Business. So this is the opening to the Haas School of Business. This is one of the 9 undergraduate schools at Berkeley, and it's named after 2 alumni of the Business School of Commerce, Walter Haas Sr. and Jr. Something interesting about both of them is that they were actually, I'll wait for the bus to go back. They were actually some alumni of this place, and they were the presidents of Levi Strauss, which is a very famous company in California, especially because of the gold rush. Oh, actually, Madison, do you want to show, some people are taking pictures with the Sturdy Bear statue. So you can see it's a very famous statue, and people take a ton of pictures with it when they come to UC Berkeley. So the Haas School of Business actually started when Arthur Rogers, one of the college's first alumni, talked about having the first ever School of Commerce in California or in the nation at Berkeley. And that was in 1883, which is like a couple of years after UC Berkeley was founded. It is honestly one of the greatest schools of business in the country. I think it's like one of the nationally ranked. And it has some new halls that are LEED certified. So LEED is essentially no waste, energy efficient, all that type of stuff. And we can continue going down here. I'll show you some of the halls in this place. So the Haas School of Business houses around 2,300 students, which is not too big, but also not too small. There are smaller colleges at UC Berkeley. So a lot of these buildings were donated by people who were previous alumni of the school. If you guys have ever heard of like MET, which is like the combination of engineering and Haas, those students are often going to be here taking business classes. So this is what the interior of the Haas School of Business looks like. As we go down the staircase here, we'll see a ton of the classrooms. So previously that what we just passed are faculty services and student services. This is also one of the statues, another one of the statues on campus. It's called Lift Bears. It was donated by the class in 1991. And if you want to show them like this, like place. What? No, it's okay. Just show them. Oh, no. Actually, they roped these places off because of COVID. They don't want people sitting here. But yeah. So if you want to like point into the windows, this is actually one of the biggest auditoriums in Berkeley. It's the Arthur Anderson Auditorium. If you ever come to CalHax, that's where it's like some lectures are going to be. Okay. So obviously this is a really nice looking area of campus, and it is donated largely in fact to the alumni of the school. They made a bougie, so to speak. Cool. Sorry? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I guess this is where they're going to start piloting their in-person program this semester. Okay, we're gonna go through this Doris and Donald Fisher Gate next. Obviously, all of it's named after the alumni, which is kind of funny to me. You know, just put your name on everything. So we're gonna start going down to the law school now. I wanted to get through the regular parts of the campus first before we go nitty gritty into the CS parts of campus. Also, if you guys are okay with this, can somebody unmute and tell me if you are able to hear?
Oh yeah, we
Cool.
can hear you. It's perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Alrighty, as we move down to the law school, I just wanted to bring some attention to this building right over here. This is the Optometry Building. So Berkeley has one of the nationally ranked optometry schools in the nation. It's kind of interesting because this is actually not an undergraduate course of study. This is one of the grad schools, or I'm actually not sure of grad school, but it's definitely not for undergrads. This is, I think, they offer student services here, so you can get free eye exams for the students who are in the school. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is where a lot of research happens on like making lenses better and stuff. As we start moving into this area of campus, I want to show you guys this building. So this is it Worcester Hall? Yeah, so this is Worcester Hall. It looks kind of weird. It is full of concrete and just, you know, a ton of windows. And honestly, it could stand to have a good power wash. But this is actually the school or the College of Environmental Design, which includes architecture, landscape planning, and design. Yeah. So this is named after one alumni of the school, Bill Worcester. So something that he did say once when he was designing this building is that he wants to design a ruin. And obviously that's like counterintuitive. Why would you want to design a ruin? It's because a ruin is something that stands the test of time. So what he was really saying is that he wants to design something that will last forever. Okay. Yeah. So honestly, this is one of the uglier buildings on campus. I hate to be mean about it, but a lot of people think that this is an eyesore on campus. It's because it was designed in the brutalist way of the art movement of the 1960s, which is kind of like function over appearance. So because of that, it is just kind of interesting to look at, but it does serve as a way to make the other buildings around it seem prettier. Okay, yeah, so here is Krober Plaza. This is a plaza that is surrounded by some of the art buildings on campus. So as we saw, this is the architecture building. This is Hurst Hall. So this is, this is one of, this is one of the top 3 programs in the US, and Hurst Hall contains a performance hall inside the building. So this is where you can see a lot of Cal Band performances. And yeah. One final thing about Worcester Hall, which is this thing in behind Madison. If you want to come here, you can get a really good view of it on the camera. Just like a little quick panoramic of it. Is that one of the notable alumni of the school is the architect of the Golden Gate Bridge, which is kind of crazy because this whole campus overlooks the Golden Gate Bridge. So I just thought it was kind of cool. One final building for this plaza here is the music library. So contrary to its name, you will not hear music when you're studying in this library. It is actually one of the quieter libraries on campus, but it's a really great place if you're just looking for a nice way to get out of the CS campus. Okay, if we go this way, you can see the Campanile. We will see the Campanile later, but right now what we're gonna go through is Morrison Hall. So this is Hurst Hall, this is Morrison Hall. And they are both part of the Department of Music. Yes. I don't really have anything else for this part. Let's just walk 10 seconds. You can see that, there are a lot of people on campus. It's very lively. I mean, it will be livelier once everybody comes back in person. But for now, it's really great. Okay, so at this point, I want to show you guys Faculty Hill. There are a ton of names for this hill specifically. Faculty Hill, 4.0 Hill, Strawberry Hill, just a ton of names. If you, actually, let's go a little further. I'll show you guys a better look at it. Okay, Matt, if you want to be right here. Okay, so the reason why this hill has a ton of names is because it was actually originally called Faculty Hill because of these wooden buildings right over here. These originally used to be the faculty buildings where faculty could live, eat, outside of classes. Right now it's just, a private venue serving events. But the story goes that before grades would be submitted for the end of the semester, students would stand at the top of this hill because it gives you a direct eye view into those buildings. And you could directly petition your professors to give you better grades. So that's how it got the name 4.0 Hill, because if you would stand on this hill, you could kind of get your professors to give you a 4.0. Now, obviously, professors thought this was annoying. So what they would do is when they would come rushing out to get these students to go away, the students would roll down this hill and essentially, get away unscathed. So that's how we get one of these traditions of 4.0 Hill is at the beginning of each term, if you roll down this hill, tradition says that you will get a 4.0 for the term. Now, I'm not sure how true that is. First semester freshman year, I tried it, didn't get a 4.0, but yeah, pretty funny nonetheless. So one last thing that I wanted to say is that in this part of campus specifically, there are a ton of trees. And especially in summer, with a ton of trees come a ton of caterpillars. So for the people who are a little taller, these caterpillars will hang down on these trees. And essentially, you just have to keep an eye out, otherwise you're going to get smacked in the face with a bunch of caterpillars. This is a really idyllic part of campus, just because, it's a ton of nature, a lot of people just stay here. I personally used to study here in freshman year, which is kind of fun. But I want to show you guys a story between these two statues. So there are a lot of statues on the UC Berkeley campus, but some of them are rooted in actual history of the student body. Okay. I think we can move a little closer to that statue. So one of the statues right here is just a regular nymph. I think it was put there because this is in front of Strawberry Creek. Strawberry Creek is one of the rivers that runs through campus, actually the only river that runs through campus. And you can just, hear water gushing as you walk through campus, especially in the nature parts. And yeah, this is where caterpillars usually are. Beware of that. If you want to see, this is where you can go to the engineering parts of campus. Do you want to? Yeah. This bridge connects you to other buildings, especially the engineering buildings. So if you're ever lost in this area and you find that bridge, just go up it. So this statue is of Pappy. So Pappy was one of the head football coaches in 1947 to 1956. And the reason why he's so revered at UC Berkeley is because during his tenure, he led us to, I think, 3 consecutive Rose Bowls. Rose Bowls are something important in football. I personally don't follow it. So it's something really important. It's where you can play against other colleges. And more importantly, he won against our rival, Stanford, 7 times in a row, which is kind of crazy, right? especially considering that UC Berkeley and Stanford are not exactly toe-to-toe in football skills. So he was one of the best coaches at UC Berkeley, and his football players were termed Pappy's Boys. Some of these players have actually gone on to be coaches in their own lifetime, which is kind of interesting. And yeah, because of this statue that was placed here, there was a student tradition that came about. So the student rally committee, every single time there is a football game, they will blindfold the statue because honestly, I don't really know the lore of this, but because Pappy's eye line lines right up with that nymph statue over there, they think that in hopes of preventing Pappy from being distracted, they'll blindfold him. So, you know, if the blindfold stays on the entire game, the lore is that Berkeley will win that game. If the blindfold comes off, then, you know, chances are up in the air. So sometimes Stanford students will actually come onto campus to remove the blindfold, so people will guard the statue during the game, which I think is kind of funny, a ton of spirit. I'm just gonna make sure that we're going the right way. Okay, we're actually gonna go up this bridge. If you guys see this building over here, you probably won't have to go here a lot, but this is the Anthropology / South Asian Institute. Just a lot of like humanities classes. If you ever have to come here, I would highly recommend asking a student of that major where you have to go. It's gonna be quiet for a second. So did you guys just hear those bells?
Yeah.
It would be great.
Faintly.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I wanted to be a little closer when that happened, but those are actually the bells of the Campanile. So the Campanile on the hour, every hour rings to note the time. So since it just passed 2 p.m., it rang 2 times. When we are in person, the Campanile, I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it later, but some people actually play songs. So this is Strawberry Creek. You can see it a lot in campus as you walk around the place. So I'm just gonna be quiet for a second. Maybe you can hear the water. I don't know if you could, but yeah. Okay. All right, so as we go up these stairs here, you will see a couple of buildings here. We'll go into what those are for later, but you will also see the Campanile. So before we actually go and talk about the Campanile, I want to direct your attention over to this red area, this red building over here. It's called South Hall. So historically, what happened was when the architects of this campus were building the campus, they were very, very concerned about what material to build these buildings out of. So some of the people were saying, let's make it out of brick. Let's make all the buildings out of brick. And then some of them were saying, no, let's make it out of wood, because wood is much more seismically stable. However, brick is fireproof. So those are the two things that they were grappling with. Do we make the buildings fireproof or seismically stable? So the founders actually created 2 buildings. One of them was this one called South Hall. They built it out of brick. As you can see, it's pretty red. And then this building over here was actually the place where North Hall was built. And they built North Hall out of wood. They built it out of wood. So as you can see, North Hall is no longer here. South Hall still is, more than 100 years later. So I think it's pretty evident to see that the people who built something to be fireproof actually won out in the end. So South Hall is the grad school of information. This includes a lot of different majors like CS, design, social sciences, law, policy. You know, if you ever talk about informational sciences, you might be here. And something a little interesting about it is that I told you guys about the 27 bear statues on campus. The smallest bear statue is actually here. It is engraved within the podium. If you saw, there was a little staircase up there. It's engraved within that staircase. Now, I actually have never found it, and I don't want to like take you guys on like a chase to find it, but we will talk about it later. Hopefully, you know, if you guys ever want to see it, you can come in person and find it. What about the doors?
It's missing one of its poles because they lost the transfer.
Oh, I never knew that.
So a lot of the are missing what bars when they were mad.
Yeah, UC Berkeley has a ton of protesters.
That way no one can block the building.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that on
Yeah, I actually did not know that, which is kind of interesting. So we're gonna start moving down towards Dwinelle Plaza. And in that kind of scenario, we're gonna move past Wheeler Hall and then go to Janelle Hall. So if you guys are in the College of Letters and Sciences, this is where you're gonna have most, if not all of your classes. I personally know that a lot of CS lower divs and upper divs are in this class, unless, you know, if you're taking, for example, 61A and 61B, those ones are in bigger lecture halls, which we can talk about later. On a personal note, Wheeler is one of my favorite buildings on campus, just because it's such a pretty building on the outside and the inside. If you want to show it, yeah. So this is Wheeler Hall. It's named after Benjamin Wheeler, one of the previous presidents of UC Berkeley, or deans or something. Sorry? Yeah. So one of the classrooms in this place is Wheeler 150. Wheeler 150 is one of the biggest lecture halls on campus. It houses, you know, more than 1,000 students. Just a ton, like where you can have a ton of people in here to learn a lot of lower divs. On a personal experience, I have had a ton of finals in here for lower divs, such as 61A. And yeah, this is also where discussions can be if they're not in Dwinelle or in SODA, if it's a CS lower div. And finally, we will talk about Janelle Hall right here. Janelle is one of the LNS hubs of classes, and it's really interesting because they call it the freshman maze. So the reason they call it the freshman maze is because it was constructed in kind of a haphazard way. So the north half of this building is for, actually, let me make sure that the information I'm saying is correct.
all of the doors are also.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys heard that, but Madison just said that you can see that the doors only have one handle on Wheeler. Sorry, logging back in. Okay, yeah, so the southern half is the lecture halls, which is, you know, accessible through these main doors right here. We can go closer. And the northern half is just offices. So offices for professors or TAs, all that type of stuff. And because two different kind of like builders built this building with two different goals in mind, lecture halls are big, offices are small. The internal map of this place is very weird. So because of ventilation and like the need to make it a little bit more organized, they added a couple of additional offshoots to this building, including stairwells. Because of the weird organization and then, you know, the haphazard way of like fixing that organization, they call this the freshman maze, because if you try and go in and like go up a floor, down a floor, try and find rooms, it will be very hard to find them. So my advice to you is that if you go into this building, keep an eye on the maps of the floors and just, you know, make sure you know where you are, because I have gotten lost in here before. And then we can talk about Cesar Gate. So this is actually the back view of Cesar Gate. But Cesar Gate was donated by, I forget his first name, but the wife of, I think it's Mark Cesar, I don't know, I'll double check that. But this is the south gate of campus. So if you can see, there's a street down there, it's called Telegraph Avenue, and this is where the city of Berkeley and the UC Berkeley campus like connect. Yeah, they light up this place for games between Berkeley and Stanford, pretty fun. And you can always find tourists taking pictures here. We'll be moving back up north after this, but I just want to show you guys like the outer view of this. Peter, that's his name, Peter Cesar. And his wife's name is Jane K. Cesar. That's what they say here, if you want to show them Cesar Gate. So as we walk through Sproul Plaza, we might come back here later, but this is Golden Bear Cafe. This is where you can get a lot of refreshments if, you know, you forget something when you come on campus. You can get food here. You can get like fresh, warm stuff and also cold stuff. Obviously, like beverages and smoothies, stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to find outside or like in other places on campus. A lot of these bulletin boards is what Sproul Plaza is famous for. People put up their opinions on here. And here is a couple of different buildings. So let's first talk about Sproul Hall. This is one of the administrative services buildings on campus. If you ever have a grievance as a student and you need to go talk to somebody to get it fixed, maybe like tuition, insurance, ship, all that type of stuff, you can go here. They have offices. They will get your stuff sorted out. You might also have classes here, but you know, that's a little less likely. This is one of our fountains. People like playing in it. And then finally, this is MLK Student Union. So originally this was just a student union. This was named after Martin Luther King Jr. after he gave a speech at the steps of Sproul Hall. If you search up those pictures of the 1960s, you can see that this entire plaza was packed full of students just listening to Martin Luther King Jr. Speak. You know, it's a very great speech. I would hear it if you have the time to. But the Martin Luther King Jr. Student Union is where you can study here. They also have a little bit of restaurants on the lower floor. And on the top, they have an auditorium. And that auditorium is where a lot of career fairs are. So just off the top of my head, the Global Startup Fair is always in this auditorium up there. If you're ever, just like, if you go in here and you go up one staircase, that's the auditorium. If you go down one staircase, there's the restaurants and workstations. And right here on this little corner is the Amazon locker. So if you're ever looking for something from Amazon, you can come here and pick it up after you like deliver it if you don't want to deliver it to your place. So this is the upper Sproul area. We might go into Telegraph afterwards. But let's just go down into lower Sproul. Okay, in the lower Sproul area, number one, I want to direct your attention to the Cesar E. Chavez Student Center. This is, you know, if you're ever struggling in your classes and you want help with a tutor or, you know, just some help in getting like skills that can help you as a student, you can come here. You can probably Google what they offer right now. So here is the internal layout of the MLK Student Union. I think right now they have food banks in there because all the restaurants are closed. But this is lower Sproul. And I just want to direct your attention, I think you might not be able to see it, but Zellerbach Hall. Zellerbach Hall is one of the student performance halls on campus. This is actually where some of the overflow lectures of CS61A and 61B can be, because, you know, so many students want to take those classes that before people drop so that they can get into like a normal lecture hall, they had to have them in here. And if you ever take an internal look at this hall, you will see that there are like thousands upon thousands of seats. And that's just so that they can fit everybody if they want to come to the first few lectures. We also have another bear statue up here. I do not know the name of this one, but it's a figurative golden bear. So, I mean, I'm not sure if you can see it, but that's just another golden bear. Sometimes when famous celebrities come and speak at Zellerbach Hall, you can see them here. A lot of a cappella performances are also performed here, so you can get in touch with other students and what they're doing on campus. We're going to go through a little bit of the theater area of campus and also athletics, and then move back up to Northside. Sorry? Blockley, yeah. Yeah, so Blockley is a student attempt to recreate the UC Berkeley campus. Obviously, they can't recreate every single thing down to like the nooks and crannies, but it was a really great way of seeing the general depiction of campus. So that was the front half of Zellerbach. If you see here, this is where like the theaters are. You can see that there are 3 stories of seats here. That is just 3 stories of seats and thousands of seats in each story. This is one of the rehearsal spaces for theater students. And yeah, this here, right back here is called the Playhouse. This is the box office, and you can see plays here. Yeah, not too much aside from that. This is the Cal Alumni Association. So, you know, you graduate from Berkeley and you want to do something as an alumni, come here. Now this is Haas Pavilion. So obviously a lot of things are named Haas here, and that's because Walter Haas Sr. and Jr. were really famous alumni of this place. So here is one of the basketball courts. I would say it's like on par with Zellerbach. It's just like a huge arena essentially. And you can just, you know, find new things to do, come to basketball games. I think they also have volleyball games here. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to still have that though. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and this is our way back up Northside. Northside is where you're going to have a ton of your CS, like collaborative discussions, labs, and yeah. I'll get more into it as we actually come closer to buildings, but you will probably essentially be spending a lot of your time on Northside if you're in CS. So word to the wise, if you're ever looking to live on campus, apply to Foothill, because that is the only Northside dorm. Okay. So you can see that there are a lot of trees on campus. It's a very serene thing. You can just walk around and be one with nature. I personally, when I get to like focus on like coding and programming and stuff, I will take a walk through nature. And yeah, you can hear Strawberry Creek again. Okay, if you want to show them this is like the back hall of Juneau Hall. You can see that it's like really big. It is definitely a maze. And one final thing of this area is the Valley Life Sciences building. So this is the building that we're coming up on here right now. So this is where a lot of the biology, chemistry, biochem, physics, not really physics, but like some physics classes are, archaeology, just life sciences, I guess. We also have a couple of Math 1A, 1B lectures here. I'm not sure about 16 or 16B, but there is a lecture hall here, VLSB 2050. If you ever have that, I can show you guys how to get into it, because personally, internally, this building is a maze for me. It's very hard to find classrooms and stuff, but I guess notables for this one is that you might have heard that UC Berkeley has the largest dinosaur skeleton that is completely reconstructed in the, I think it might be, it's definitely the nation, might be the world right now, but it is a T-Rex. So they have a plaster reconstruction of that T-Rex on display in this building. If you go through these doors and just straight through, you will be able to see that T-Rex. And as we walk through up here, you can see the Campanile again. If you keep walking up here, actually, and up towards the Campanile, you will be able to see the Golden Gate Bridge and the Bay Bridge on a clear day, which is pretty cool. And as we keep moving up here, you might see another entrance to VLSB. If you ever have a lecture in VLSB 2050, this is the entrance you want to go through because it goes directly to that lecture hall. You don't need to get lost. Just go through those doors and you will be there. Okay, we have two options. We can go up this hill and die, or we can go that way. Yeah, okay, that's true. We haven't gone to the Campanile, but like I can just talk to you about the Campanile right now. The Campanile is one of the most seismically stable buildings on campus, and they ring bells like every single hour on the hour. Let me just find the facts again. So officially it's known as Seder Tower, and it's modeled after this one bell tower in Italy called the St. Mark's Tower. It was constructed in 1914, and right now it is the tallest freestanding clock and bell tower in the United States. Something interesting about the Campanile is that after we constructed it, Stanford actually came here and asked the architects of this tower to give us their plans so that they could construct one. And UC Berkeley was like, okay, you know what? In the name of, free work and like just, being good comrades, essentially, we'll give you the plans. But they knew that Stanford wanted to one-up them because, they're rivals. So they actually gave them warped plans. They did stuff that on the blueprint, it seemed okay. It seemed like the same thing. But when they actually built it, it made the Stanford statue just look completely weird. So now if you take a look at the Stanford statue, it will look kind of like a deformed version of the Campanile, which is kind of cool to me. Just, rivalry and stuff. Okay. I probably won't go to this part of campus, but this is anthropology, just humanities. Yeah, you probably won't be there too much unless you're walking through it or whatever. I don't think there are. So we're going to start moving up into the Memorial Glade area, which is where there are a ton of libraries. This is the first library. It's called Moffett. You probably have heard of Moffitt a lot because this is a really great co-working space for like other students, like if you're doing a group project. Something interesting about this place is that in Sproul Plaza, there was this huge free speech movement, which is actually the cause of Martin Luther King Jr. speaking here. One of the remnants of that movement is the Free Speech Movement Cafe. So this is where you can get like sandwiches and stuff, aside from the GBC. I think, okay, this is something kind of weird, but I remember reading that these newspapers were from March, but I guess they updated them. This is kind of cool. This is the back part of Juneau. So something about Moffitt is that there are 5 floors. The first floor is this general like silent working. That's actually where you just have to be really quiet, computer labs and stuff. Second floor is the way to Main Stacks. Main Stacks is a underground library that connects Doe and Moffitt. The third floor is, I forgot the third floor. I think it's just like a regular talking working space. 4 is explicitly for group working, so it can get kind of loud there. And 5 is a complete silent zone. So if you go into the 5th floor and you start talking, you'll be probably met with a lot of glares because, you know, it's just a very quiet space. You're not allowed to talk there essentially. But what separates Moffitt from the rest of the buildings is that you are allowed to eat, and that Moffitt is a 24/7 library on the weekdays. I think they have a couple of hours on the weekends where they like close to the public, but it is 24/7. And because it is 24/7, what they ask is that people who are not Berkeley students to enter the library. So you have to show your Cal ID to get in. Yeah. Okay. So let's wait for this. So this is one of those seals that are constructed. So there's one here, one at the end of this glade, and one on that side over there. But like it just like makes a triangle out of the Memorial Glade. These seals were constructed after World War I, similar to the California Memorial Stadium, to honor the lives of students who died during World War I. One of the traditions is that if you step on the seal, you will not get a 4.0. You will fail all of your classes. So one of the things is that if you're a student and you believe in that tradition, you do not step on the seal. Sometimes people have just, you know, they've already like not gone a 4.0, so they just step on the seal willy-nilly. But for the most part, you'll see students just, you know, walking around it. It's just a way to prevent tarnishing of the seal and just, you know, to honor those lives that are lost. I guess right here would be a really good place to stop. So I guess we can go in like a circle. So this building right over here is the the East Asian Library. The full name is CV Star East Asian Library. It is for East Asian studies, but you don't have to be East Asian to study there. It's a very quiet building. You're not allowed to eat in it. And it's just a really nice place with like a lot of space to study. So if you're ever looking for a place to just like to get in the zone when you're studying, that's a good place. We'll move a little bit over in this area. Oh, going the grass in this area soon. But that is where Kresge Library and the Anthropology Library is. Anthropology Library is similar to East Asian. You should be quiet when you're there. Kresge is not. It is the engineering library. There is a lot of talking in that place. If you're in PS, odds are people will ask me in Kresge. This is Evans. Similar to Worcester Hall, people think that it is a blight on the campus landscape. It just seems like a regular office building to me, but people really think it's ugly. This is where a lot of discussions will be, especially for math classes. On the upper floors, there will be professor offices for STEM professors. And I think specifically on the 9th floor is a MUSA office. So similar to the CSUA, MUSA is an office that's available to everybody. You can get food there, you can study there. Pretty nice. And then finally, we have my favorite, Doe Library. So Doe is, well, the official name is Charles Doe Library. Anyway, so this is one of the libraries that is similarly closed to just UC Berkeley students. You can go into the lower floors and just talk, I guess. But like, if you're not a Berkeley student, they have a couple of museums and a couple of rooms that are only available to Berkeley students if you are not on a computer or on a phone, if you're just studying with books. I would say if you have the chance, it's a very aesthetic way of studying and, you know, disconnecting from life. But my favorite part of Doe Library is on the 2nd floor. So if you go into Doe Library and just go to the 2nd floor immediately, there is this place of Doe Library called the North Reading Room. The North Reading Room is also similarly close to just Berkeley students, but, you know, it's a very nice way to connect with the UC Berkeley history of the place because they keep it like similar to how students studied in the 1900s. But you can, you know, bring your computer in, code, whatever. And it's just a really nice way to get involved with campus.
It's so much because it's blocks the view from the. So the reason that people say Evans is so horrible and ugly isn't because of the building. I mean, it is because of the building itself in one way, but the other way is because it blocks the view of bridges in the bay from the north side of it.
Yeah. Okay, I really want to show you guys the view of the Campanile. So we're gonna take a small detour from the tour to show there. What? No, I know, but like the plaza, you know, in front of the tower. So similar to Doe Library, this is Bancroft Library. This houses a lot of anthropology work. So particularly in the early 20th century, UC Berkeley played a really large part in the Native American, I mean, like, it's kind of a blight on UC Berkeley history, but there was a Native American tribe called the Ohlone in the Bay Area, and they, you know, took a lot of like studies there, and they kind of like helped dismantle the Native American identity of the people who owned this area. In particular, there was this one Native American man called Ishi. He was essentially captured because he was the last of his tribe, and he was like, I guess, like the subject of a lot of anthropology studies. This library has 10,000 items, all of which are Native American, and one of the current controversies is that they do not want to give it back, which is kind of interesting. So this is another one of those. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! So you can see we just went past South Hall. This is Evans, and I will show you guys Campanile Plaza now. The entire UC Berkeley campus is on an incline. So south side is at the bottom of the hill, north side is on the top of the hill. There's just a lot of hills to go up and down. So if you hear me out of breath, that is largely why. So this is the Campanile Plaza. I want to be out of the shot to like just show it. I talked about Cesar Tower, but one last thing that I want to say is that actually this is one of the sites of like a lot of inductions for like clubs and stuff. If you're ever looking to take a good headshot, this is the place. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is the 4.0 ball. The tradition says that if you step on the seal, you have to run to this ball, and I think it's kissing it. I'm not going to kiss it because COVID. But yeah, it is constructed right in front of Cesar Tower, and it's a nice part of tradition. I think I can show you guys a little bit more of Cesar Tower. We can't go up inside it specifically, but we can show you the outside of it. Now, I'm sure if you're in Berkeley, they did an excellent rendition of this. So if you go in this little area here with like the shade, you will see a couple of more bear statues. But I want to show you guys up here. It's supposed to say Fiat Lux, which is the UC Berkeley motto, let there be light. But you might notice that it is reversed. So the reason that it is reversed is that they wanted it to like shine down, I think, but they just put it on in the wrong way and they just haven't fixed it since, because UC Berkeley, I guess. And one final thing is the view. So you can see a much better view up in the tower. This is so big. Oh my God, I can't even look at it. But you can see right there in the skyline probably is the Golden Gate Bridge. So the entire campus is built to face the Golden Gate Bridge, which is kind of cool. If you're up in the tower, you can also see the Bay Bridge, which are two of the biggest bridges in the Bay Area. And yeah, I think it serves as a reminder of how close we are to the Bay Area and how tied we are with it. You can also see to the end of campus there. Kind of cool. Oh, and I guess one last thing, my bad. Abe Lincoln, exactly. So after the tower was constructed, the architect of Mount Rushmore built this bust of Abe Lincoln. So it's the person who built Mount Rushmore, the way that like he carved all those faces and stuff, and he built Abe Lincoln for us, which is kind of cool.
Like the most vague thing on campus ever. Beneficiary to benefactor.
Yeah, and then these are the buildings that I said we were talking more about later. Now is the time. These are the buildings that comprise the College of Chemistry. And what we can do is we can walk through in the middle of them. But if you guys have heard of how renowned the College of Chemistry is, it is extremely renowned, and it is because 16 elements were discovered here at UC Berkeley. Some elements include berkelium and californium. I'm pretty sure there was something in the news recently about another one that they discovered, the 99th element or something. But like, you know, not lab created essentially. Also in this, this is the #1 chemistry college in the nation, according to US News, but it is also the smallest college on campus. So there are less than 1,000 students that are enrolled in this place. Because of that, there is a lot of research available to College of Chemistry students, specifically in chemistry. Something notable about the College of Chemistry is that one of our professors, Professor Lewis, you might have heard of him, is the one who pioneered the Lewis dot structure. So the Lewis dot structure is something that, you know, is currently taught in a lot of high school chemistry classes. But yeah, this in particular is my favorite part of campus. I don't know why, I just love this gate. For me, it signifies moving from the engineering part of campus, the humanities part of campus, but yeah. One thing that is interesting about the College of Chemistry is that Gilman Hall, we can see it as we walk up here, but Gilman Hall is where the element plutonium was discovered. very interesting to me. Like, this is where a lot of history in the chemistry sphere has occurred. So as Addison said, only one door handle. Yeah, a lot of the architecture of this place is built based in the 1800s. So these buildings have been here for a very long time. This is Gilman Hall, where plutonium was discovered. Sorry? Yeah, no door handles, yeah. It's a very steep incline. As a freshman, I would go up this hill with my Taco Bell from Southside. Whew. Really made me work for it. So there's a CSO, which is a community service officer. One cool thing about UC Berkeley is that because this campus can be kind of dangerous at night, or like the city of Berkeley can be kind of dangerous at night, you can always call Bear Walk for somebody like a CSO to come and walk you from your place to your destination. Very nice. They keep the campus very safe. Finally, we are in the engineering part of campus. But one last thing about the keeping campus safe, if you're ever feeling unsafe, we have these emergency poles. To press a button, UCPD will be there to help you. So let's go. Let's cross the road. You can see that we connect straight to Memorial Blade from here. Okay, so this is Hearst Mining Circle. We have a little fountain to commemorate that. But the reason why Hearst Mining Circle gets its name is because of Hearst Mining Memorial Building. So in the first few years of Berkeley, this place was a mining school, and students of the mining college would actually mine in shafts underneath the school. So I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a little bit of smoke coming up from that place. That is from one of the mine shafts. There is lore that you can use a mine shaft to get from place to place. You should not do that. It is very unsafe. But yeah, Hearst Mining Memorial Building is one of the prettiest buildings on campus on the inside. If you go in person, I highly recommend taking a stop here, even if you don't have any classes. It is literally jaw-dropping how beautiful it is. We also have the engineering ball here. Kind of cool. This is Tan Kati. It's one of the chemistry buildings. There's a lot of research that happens in this place. But these two buildings are the most significant for CS buildings in this area. So this is Stanley Hall. We also have a Yawley's here. Yawley's are cafes all around campus. There is another one closer to the engineering side of the building. But there's a Yawley's here. And here is where there is a lot of research, especially for CS. Most of the CS research is either in soda. Did I just What?
Jennifer, can you mute yourself?
Okay, I was just like, did I actually start playing music? That's fine. Cool. Do you just keep hearing music? I don't know.
Yeah, someone joined in with screen sharing. I kicked them.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is Stanley Hall, CS Research. This is where not even just CS Research, a lot of research goes down. Professors' offices are here, especially in terms of like co-working and stuff. There's this one lecture hall here, Stanley 105. And that lecture hall is pretty significant, especially for 61A. That is where some of the lectures can be. But over here is a circular building called Pimental. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, Pimental, but it is an entirely circular building that only has one lecture room. The entire building is one lecture room. And something that's interesting about it is that it has a revolving stage. So you can go from, chem labs and like actual lab stations and stuff to just a normal lecture room. in the span of like a minute. So a lot of students, regardless of what field of engineering they are in, they can go into this hall for their lectures and, you know, actually have a lecture. If you were here, I'm not sure, but you can come here for like other stuff, like including like holiday stuff. If you guys have that again in person, I'm not sure. But they have a lot of lectures here, especially for like big audiences. I will take a quick detour to show you guys Kresge, but then we're gonna go up and see Foothill. Um, 2:45. We're almost done, guys.
Kuhu, I think that someone's trying to raid the Zoom room. People keep joining and playing music, so I'd say like wrap it up soon, probably. I'm gonna enable
okay, you can also
I'm gonna
just
enable the
enable
waiting room.
security.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, Zoom bombing. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple of final things. This is the engineering student services. If you're in COE, you can come here for engineering student services. Up there is Corey Hall. We will go a little bit further into that. That is one of the specifically CS buildings on campus. But one floor below this, if we go down this staircase over here, is the Kresge Engineering Building. So I've already told you a little bit about it. It's just a great place to study if you're looking to talk to people. They have study rooms if you're looking to book rooms specifically for group projects. Yeah, so the way that you book rooms specifically for libraries is going through the library website and logging on. I think it's at midnight for the day and booking a room that way. If you're also looking to just book rooms in advance, you can go through like Google Calendar. You can book rooms in Soda and Corey buildings specifically. So this is the Bechtel Engineering Center. It's like another kind of like auditorium kind of space. But I want to show you guys this hallway up to specifically most north area of campus. So this specifically is Mclaughlin Hall. This is where a lot of College of Engineering deans and professors' offices are. If you ever have something to do with like admission or like stuff, you can go talk to them here. There's another view of Memorial Glade. If you're ever in Memorial Glade or you get lost and you end up in Memorial Glade, I hope that you will not get lost starting from that point. But as we go up here, we will see another Yawley's on our right side. Again, Yawley's is a place to eat. It's a place to like work. We got some more bear statues. These, I don't know. They always look like they're ready for a good time. So these work benches were recently installed in spring 2020. It's where you can like work and meet new people. They are an offshoot of the benches outside of Yawley's. I'm not sure if Yawley's is still open, but you can definitely work here. Mine shop. Okay, I will show you guys Northgate in a little bit, but these are the Northgate buildings. You probably won't have classes here unless you're doing like CSM review sessions, specifically for like 16A, 16B. And right next to Yawley's is the Sitar Jadai Center of Innovation. So this is, I think we have a museum of engineering here to show like the things that have been made. Just, I'm not sure if you guys are actually going to be here unless you're actually making stuff. But if you are making stuff, we will go into Jacobs Hall of Design because they have a makerspace. Oh yeah, so the Citrus Lab is in Cesar. If you ever join the Citrus Lab, it will be here. And we are finally at my favorite part of campus. Just one last thing, if you guys are in MET, the office is right here. This is Blum Hall, Blum. Oftentimes when I walk from south side and north side, this is where I take a break. It's great here, but we will go into a place where we spend a lot of time here, especially for CS. So if we already talked a little bit about Corey. Corey is where a lot of CS research happens. Also the E16, A16B labs are here, like, you know, soldering and stuff. I don't think it's safe to jaywalk, so I'm gonna press stoplight. Does anybody have any questions while we wait? Sorry? Okay, this is my favorite building on campus, Soda Hall. Soda Hall is where there are CS labs, CS discussions, CS professors often hang out here. And one of my favorite buildings is one of my favorite rooms, the CSUA office, the CS Undergrad Association. So as we walk into this breezeway, you will see Etcheverry Hall on the opposite side. Etcheverry Hall is much similar to Soda Hall in that, you know, there are a lot of classes, lectures, lab discussions. V&A Cafe, similar to O'Yali's. You can use your Cal1 debit account to get stuff. And this is Soda Hall. I just want to show you guys where the CSUA office is. You can also see a little bit inside Soda Hall here. If you want to show a little bit. Yeah, this is CSUA. In person, these doors will always be open to you if you want to work and eat outside of Moffitt in a smaller space. Oh my God. Jacob's design of Makerspace is over there. If you're ever wanting to 3D print or create stuff, they have a ton of great machines there. If you want to join the Jacob's design and Makerspace, you do have to pay a fee every semester. I think it's around $95. But it's a great way to make stuff if you're inclined to that. This is the steepest hill on campus, the Hearst Avenue Hill. At the very top is Foothill, and then, you know, there are buildings up here. Something that I do want to draw your attention to is one of the restaurants here. It is the Northside Asian food. I think it's called the Ghetto. I'm not really sure. So we have a ton of places here. Subway, like Indian restaurants, Malaysian restaurants, Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean. Also a boba shop. So if you're ever looking for some easy way to get food in between your classes up on North Side, you can come here. And I think we will end our tour of campus. Oh, I guess it's kind of gated off, but we'll end our tour at Northgate. So on Euclid Avenue is similar to the Asian ghetto. We have more restaurants here. We have Menchie's, Mediterranean, Mexican, all that type of stuff, Italian. And then here we have Northgate. You should push the button. It takes a while, I guess. Cool. So similar to Cesar Gate, Northgate is the official end of campus and moving into the city of Berkeley. Some of those buildings up there were, kind of off campus, but still regarded as on campus. So yeah, as you go through Northgate, as you go through Northgate, and you go down this hill, you will find yourself at Memorial Glade once again. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining the CSUA tour of Berkeley. If you ever have questions, feel free to email pb@csua.berkeley.edu, and we will be more than happy to answer them. You good?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, Roy.